We're going to roll in again, folks. Another big week on the Unlaced podcast. Before we jump into this, I just want to give mention to Kelsey Brown, our last episode. She's an absolute superstar. For those that didn't listen into it, she's doing a lot of great things in the netball scene. Obviously spoke very candidly about her career and some of the challenges she's had, but also some of the triumphs she's had. So please go back and check that out if you haven't. She even gave us a performance, an a cappella of Fix You by Coldplay, I think it was, Braden Hay, which was unbelievable. And supposedly she's going to be performing at Splendour in the Glass 2022, which I thought was a bit of a piss take when she told me, but I tagged Splendour in the Grass in a video with her singing and they sent me back love heart eyes. So maybe she actually is. So let's keep an eye out for that. But a man that I've been trying to get on for a while, but he's been, let's say, occupied the last few weeks with some other festivities, is Western United's key man, winger in Connor Payne. Mate, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem. I've said to you before that I'm a long-time listener and it's an honour to be on the show finally.
Yeah, I know, man. It's been a long time coming.
It has,
It's been a busy year for you, hey?
Yeah, it's been sort of non-stop. I think obviously with the COVID sort of stuff and pushing the season back a few weeks, I think we ended up going something like 40, 47, 48 weeks straight. So it's been a big slog, but, happy to have a bit of a break.
Yeah. How many games did like COVID kind of stuff you up with?
It was only a couple, yeah. So I think there was some rule that you had to have like 5 go down to postpone a game, and lucky for us, a lot went down at the same time. So we I think we missed a couple of weeks, but the season got pushed back probably a month. So everything sort of got pushed a bit later and later and later. So yeah, it's been a big tough year.
Well, fair enough, mate. Well, it's been obviously, for those that don't know, Connor Payne was a part of the Western United team that's won the first premiership for the newly developed club in the A-League, which I think it's their third season now.
Third season, yeah.
Yeah, third season, which is pretty crazy. I always feel, right, because I was at Gold Coast and I've seen it in the AFL, I was like, when you're a new franchise, if you win early, it makes everything better. Like it's kind of like you're settled, you're respected. But when you're chasing that first premiership and you've come in late, it just like, mate, GWS and Gold Coast, even like Gold Coast United in the A-League and Queensland Fury, like none of them are around anymore. But you guys have like tasted success and been successful from the get-go. Yeah,
for sure. I guess that's just the way Australian sport kind of works in a salary cap competition, that you kind of almost need teams to win, like, you know what I mean, kind of early on, or have tasted a little bit of success. So, for us to do that was just a massive sort of weight off our shoulders, and we knew we could do it. So from day one, I don't think we got many experts sort of calling us even to make the finals after the way we finished the season before. So, yeah, look, we just sort of knew deep down that we had a playing group and a coach and a coaching staff that could do it, and we sort of just went out there and just took it week by week and ended up managing to do it. So,
well, good, man. And you know what? Funny, ladies and gentlemen, Con's got a bit of a bone to pick with me because we're talking about my lowest rated show ever in the history of this podcast, and it was my own first solo episode of me talking about the Champions League final and the A-League final, which both of my predictions I got wrong. And in Con's fairness, he said I didn't give Western United much of a chance, which in hindsight was ridiculous because their form leading in was much better than Melbourne City's, and it is a bit of a momentum game in finals. But yeah, I did write you off a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, but that's all right. It's just sort of, the old sort of adage, it sort of spurred us on a little bit more.
I get that.
Told all the boys, listen to Jake Barker-Dage talking about us and see how we go.
Yeah, that's right. I was the catalyst. Well, before we go into the game, like, for me, I'm obviously, fond of the party scene and the celebrations. Like when I think I messaged you, I'm like, on one of your stories you'd sent me, I'm like, this is literally what it's about. Like the medal on you, the drinking beers, the celebrations with the boys. Like, can you just talk us through the celebrations, what it was like for everyone at the club?
Yeah, it was good fun. Obviously, I'm a massive believer in you've got to celebrate these sort of things. They don't come around very often, and I sound like kind of like I'm getting really old when I say it won't come around again, or it comes around in, you think you'll play every year in the grand final when you're 19, and then you realise when you're 28 that you haven't played in one since. You didn't even get on the pitch in the one you're in victory. Yeah, look, it was heaps of fun. We had like obviously things like Mad Monday and presentation nights and stuff, and obviously nights in between that we just sort of stuck together and had a few beers and a bit of a dance here and there. And, the chairman's really good at sort of that stuff as well. He sort of brings everyone together, and, we had heaps and heaps of fun. So, yeah, it's sort of going to go down in the memory bank, and I'm upset that it's kind of over now. But
Of what you can remember, I can imagine.
I can remember plenty. But I made sure of it.
I heard a birdie on the grand final night. I assume it was win or loss because obviously I heard it through the game, but it might have been the chairman. But he like essentially had booked out like a function room at the Espy or whatever it was for like Western United, and I got invited to it. And someone's like, "Man, you got to come along," and I'm like, I work at Victory, bro. Like, that's imagine if I get on the story. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hey,
would have made sure
like
of it
for me, it's like I obviously go for Melbourne Victory, but it's like not a big deal because I celebrate your success as opposed to like, you know. But I was like, no, I can't, man, I can't. But I would have loved to.
Yeah, it was like an area I've never been before. I don't know if it's like the Maya Tiger upstairs, the restaurant.
The restaurant. Is that what you had?
So yeah, like we just all went in there and it was absolutely heaving, like full of so many people. And I'm just going like, what is going on?
Wow.
And the floors are shaking and stuff like, because it was a Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Saturday night. So like the downstairs was heaving as it was.
Yeah.
And we all just got like sort of ushered straight upstairs with medals on and playing kits on and hats on. And
You're joking.
It was just crazy. It was just exactly what you want after a win like that. So it was just a whole lot of fun.
And then I saw the next day, I think you guys had like rented out or were at the Graceland or whatever in Melbourne.
Yeah.
About 15 players had sunnies on. They're probably in the same kits and the medals around their neck still. Like Ryan Scott, he's going to get a few mentions on this. So I hope you're listening, Scotty. Voice was husk, to say the least.
He had these like, I don't even know what they were, like Smirnoff Ice sunnies or like a Cruiser sunnies. They were like hot pink and he looked cool.
Oh, mate, so, you know what? His what I admired about him was like the energy, because obviously he's played as a number one for you guys, but Jamie Young's it's pretty hard to get past him at the moment.
Yeah,
like he's so good. But even just like his happiness and his energy around the club, like singing with the fans after the game. The way he celebrated the win as well, as if it was like he was the captain and just scored 15 goals for the year. It kind of said a lot about the group and the camaraderie you had, I thought.
Oh, for sure. And like, I don't really understand how he managed to do that kind of thing.
I can't understand it either.
It's crazy that, because he's such a good goalkeeper as well. And obviously Youngie had such an amazing year that Scotty couldn't really get in the team. And that's the way it kind of works with goalkeepers, doesn't it? But you know, you look around the league and Scotty could be a number one in a lot of teams, of teams. And he's such a good goalkeeper. So for him to stay so positive and such a larrikin and with the boys, and that's just totally 100% genuinely him. Like it's nothing about that's fake.
Yeah.
And that's just the best part about it. Obviously he wants to play like anybody else, but you know, I think he enjoyed that grand final win as much as anyone.
I think you're maybe like me, like, because I've obviously been in your shoes to an extent. Like I actually really appreciate seeing that now, because I know me in those situations can't be like that.
100%.
Like even with wins and stuff, like you can put on a face and like no one will really know, but in yourself you're like, it didn't feel like, you know. Whereas he was like, and that for me, I'm like, what a bloke.
I know, because football's such a funny game like that. Like you can win a game of football and you're buzzing for the boys. Obviously, you got 3 points in it, you know, but you sort of feel like in yourself you want to have contributed. And that was like a big thing when I was at Victory, when we won the league. And I was young at the time, so fair enough. And we had some really, really good players, but I just sort of felt like, you know, that wasn't really like a part of the grand final win. So
is this the 2015 one?
2015, yeah. I mean, I ended up getting on a plane to Vegas with all the boys. That was a lot of fun. But
we've spoken about this trip on this podcast before.
I heard Fahid talking about it. And that's story's 100% true.
Yeah,
by the
it
way,
is, right?
So I can confirm that.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, this one kind of felt like the first one for me that I've sort of felt like I've really contributed and felt really a part of. But that's probably the good thing about this club as well. I feel like the way that the coaches come in and sort of galvanised everyone and brought everyone together, people that have been on the extremities or played minutes here and minutes there, they feel a part of it as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's just such a positive thing, that the way that we've sort of structured the club and the way it's sort of gone from the top to the bottom, where everyone feels a part of it. Yeah. Which is something that I probably haven't had previously. So these kids that are playing, you know, bit parts, they come on for 10 minutes a game. Of course they want to play more, but they feel like they've contributed. So that's great.
Mad. That's mad. It seems like a really good culture. One of the things actually Nigel Bogard said to me after the game, he goes, this is a sign of good club, Jake. He's like, when the final whistle went, they let your family and friends on the pitch straight away. Oh. And I was like, fuck, that's a weird comment. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty true, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know if they let it.
Oh, didn't they? Yeah, they just ran on.
I saw that many people on the pitch that I didn't know who they were. And then I was like to my parents, oh, come on. And
oh, really?
We must have gone and obviously Ash as well. We must have gone past the wrong security guard because he was like, get the fuck off.
So they went on for you.
Yeah, and then like I ended up getting them on, but I don't think they were happy about it. And we're trying to get them on the change rooms. They're like, no, that's not happening. So
right, okay.
But we had a good time in the change rooms as well, and just met them at the ESPY.
Now, before we go into some of the gamesmanships and your performances in the season in itself, I just want to quickly talk about Bali, because obviously that was an end of season trip, and obviously it started at the ESPY and ended in Bali. But how was that? To one, A, to get away, and two, to actually like be away knowing you'd won the championship with the boys?
Yeah, it was awesome because we haven't been traveling for so long, and just to go back to sort of like a second home in Bali and experience that with the boys, and as well as the girls came over for the second week. So yeah, just to get away and have some sun and just be around everyone. The problem was we'd gone pretty hard before we went.
Yeah.
So the medal night. So we'd gone the Saturday to the Wednesday, because Wednesday was medal night, Saturday was the granny, and the Thursday went to Bali. So we'd gone, and then we were having a good time in Bali, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it kind of mellowed out a little bit when the girls came, but we still were enjoying ourselves. So it was great just to go there because we knew we were going to go. But we were just buzzing that we managed to get the championship over the line first.
Oh, mate. So. It's great for the league you guys won. But if we just to round this out, and I think I already know the answer, but who was best on for championship celebrations?
It actually is closer than you think.
Really? I was going to say Ryan Scott, clear from what I heard and what I saw, and probably just knowing him outside of Western United, I thought, he's got to be a champ.
He definitely edges it.
But was there any surprise packets in it?
Like Walesy, your typical sort of, he was up there. I gave it a good crack.
I knew you'd be up there.
Got to put myself in there. I'm getting a bit older than these boys though, so
the next day would have been harder.
Yeah, maybe not as good as I used to be, but yeah, there was just everyone just sort of got around it, had a good crack.
That's
Nick
awesome.
Milanovic had a good go for a young boy.
Really?
Very impressed.
That's concerning.
I don't want to throw him under the bus for next season or anything.
Yeah,
but
Gaffer's all good.
Yeah, don't listen.
Let's talk about your season, because for me, and you touched on it, like you felt like you probably contributed more to this but you did. You had a huge season, I thought, like goals, assists, even just like you pretty much played like every game when you were fit to sort of be a pivotal part of the 11 and obviously JA's team. But was this season like probably your best in your eyes from like your output, do you think?
Oh, yes and no. Yeah, I think I had a pretty good year. The first year I came to Western, I was playing a different role as a wing back. But yeah, I felt like I was definitely the freest I've felt and felt the happiest. So I guess in that regard, as a gauge, it sort of felt like the best season I've probably had, yeah.
Yeah, so for you at 20, because what are you, 29? You're my age.
28, yeah.
28.
29 November. Hanging on.
Oh, that's good. You're a late 93 born.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like your game's improving? Like,
absolutely, yeah. I think I've sort of almost got this career backwards. Like I think I'm kind of finally getting good now.
Because I feel like, the reason why I asked that is because I don't obviously know what it's like for you, but what you're showing is like you've always had the quality to do that. It's just a matter of like joining the dots and getting an environment where you can be free and like be the first choice, for example.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot to do with mental stuff as well. Like, when you're younger and at a team that's stacked like Victory, you sort of,
fuck, man.
I don't know, in your head you're kind of like, I want to play, but then it's like, you look back in hindsight and go, you're never going to play.
Yeah.
And like you're not confident. I wasn't confident as a kid. I was never through the system, bit of an introvert, like. So it was sort of just becoming comfortable with myself as much as anything, and then believing in my ability after that. And that took the move to Mariners to definitely do that.
Was that what gave you the confidence to be, because that Victor, you like realistically, and for everyone listening, the time you were there, in your position, you had Ben Kalfala, Barbarousis, Troisi at times, even Finkler, Archie was still there. I don't know if you were there when Rojas was there too. You were there
for a bit. They were sort of all swapped.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? But that mass group of players was there through that whole period. Yeah. It's like, fuck, man, that's where Victory invests their money. Yeah. It's like in the front three almost. So.
I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Yeah, so.
Yeah, not to rub it in, mate.
Yeah, I know.
It was a tough time to be. You would have learned a lot, but just to get opportunity, I experienced at Adelaide. It was fucking impossible.
Yeah, 100%. Because like it was sort of for me. For people that probably don't know, is I was trying to get out of Victory because I signed a 2-year to start with and then another 2-year extension. And I probably spent the whole second contract trying to find some way of going somewhere because it was sort of like you just, if I finished that contract off there, I knew in my mind I was probably done. Like I wouldn't pick up anything else.
Yeah.
So I think I spoke to a couple of clubs over the year previous, and then what happened was Victory wanted to play it back. So Mitch Austin ended up coming. So I went to Mariners. So
right.
But yeah, that was the best thing I ever did. You just sort of, as soon as you walk in there, I felt comfortable and the boys just sort of get around you. And I'm thinking, never really had this before. And I think it's the nature of the cutthroat business at Victory. It's
brutal.
It is full on. It is really, really full on. And it definitely was. And I think I'd be okay now. But at the time, I didn't deal with it very well at all.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Rashid's spoken about the team there, and obviously it was under Muskie, but it was like, obviously you had Besh, you had all these people there, like Del Pierre, that was just like, it's like, man, every day would have been a fucking war.
Yeah, it was almost like the fans as well. Like they sort of, like they just got on your back big time. And that's they pay their money to come and watch you play, and that's absolutely their prerogative. But it was counterproductive for a 19-year-old kid that already doesn't believe in himself. You know what I mean? Coming on for 5 minutes, don't do anything.
Yeah,
he's fucking shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
right?
man, and like when you're young, you read that stuff, and you just going, oh, I can't catch a break here, and I already think I'm shit anyway. Like, you don't need to tell me as well. You know what I mean? So to get out of that sort of melting pot at Victory was the best thing I ever did, and just got to go and enjoy my life up on the coast for a couple of years, and then ideally the new club came in and back home I come.
Yeah, bingo. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to take a quick pause in this episode, which I hope you're enjoying, to acknowledge our partners. Now, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Now, none of us like having sweaty sacks, and the king of crotch comfort, Manscaped, have actually spent 2 years designing some pretty cool boxer briefs. Now, I have had the opportunity of wearing these boxer briefs, and they are some of the softest and most comfortable fabric that I have ever wore in any underwear. I do support what they do from a holistic part of their products. I've used a lot of their products and they are fantastic. But their new boxer briefs specifically, they actually give you gills on your groins, so they're breathable. So I implore you to get out there, use our discount code to start purchasing them. You'll get 20% off plus free worldwide shipping with the discount code UNLACED on manscaped.com. That's unlaced at manscaped.com for 20% off and worldwide free shipping. So get some boxer brief and some other product while you're at it. Let's get back into the episode. Back to the improvement question of like what you're feeling. For you, what have you identified that like has gotten better in your game with, I guess, your time at Western United?
Yeah, I think it's just like my comfortability on the ball, really.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't lose the ball as much as when I was younger, and I just feel like maybe it's just a mental. I think honestly, it's more of a mental thing where I don't.
Because you could have always done it, right? Do you know what I think that is partially as well? I think part of that's coaching, because like you've always had the qualities to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're probably at Victory, it was like when you get 5-10 minutes as a winger when you're coming on, it's like
do something.
It's like instinct and speed. If otherwise, like you can't keep the ball and play it backwards 10 times, even though it might be the right decision. You almost feel like you got to be selfish to get a gig, and then it's counterproductive. In a way,
absolutely.
Isn't it?
Well, maybe that's part of it. When you're starting games, you have 90 minutes to and you know you're obviously going to have moments where you're going to run at people, but ball retention is massive too.
Yeah, correct.
And just I think mentally going into games and not putting super amount of pressure on myself is the biggest one. Like I went to, Victory was like, like you said, you have to do something, And I don't think you had to think that way. I think that's just a way I put it in my own head.
But I'm the same. So I do the same too. I'd try and play a stupid pass just to try and make something happen. So like I didn't.
Now it's like I just sort of go out there and it's just a game. I'm out for a kickabout with my mates.
Yeah, that's good.
I just relax. I
you
don't think
like
about it.
Too.
Yeah, I just roll out there and just stand there like let's just get this going. Like, let's go. Let's do it. Like I'm not like coming out wanting to kill people or anything. I just sort of come out like, let's just play. Yeah, and we'll beat them. Like no problem.
That's good. That's why I love that. Now, what's kind of interesting for me is that a lot of people probably, as you said, wrote you guys off coming into finals, but probably, I don't know, it was just the first half or even longer than the season, but you guys were on top for like a good chunk of the season. So it wasn't like you've just sloped in the finals and like you probably were halfway through point. Everyone's like, well, Western United is the team to beat until Victory went on that unbeaten run and City started to kind of flare up a little bit. But what was it for you that was like clicked in general across the group? Was it the playing style? Was it the coaching, the camaraderie, combination of all? Yeah,
I think you touched on everything there with saying that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't think, even though when we were winning the league, I don't think people had us staying there because we kept winning 1-0 and they were rather unconvincing. It sort of got to the second half of the season and it was like, we'd have games where, because inconsistency is massive for like a team that's new, especially with all the new boys in, new coaching and everything. But we found some form sort of leading into finals, and then the last 2 or 3 games before finals, we were nowhere really. Like we played well, but didn't win games. So it was really that victory. The first leg was a catalyst because we knew that we were probably the better side in that game, but lost to an absolute worldie free kick.
I know, that's what I thought.
It wasn't a free kick the first one, was it?
It was a volley, volley off the corner.
I was like, what in the world? So if a goal like that's going to beat you, then fair enough.
Yeah,
right?
you take it.
But yeah, it's just a combination of everything. The boys are genuinely so like happy with each other. I can't think of anyone in the dressing room that people don't get along with.
Which is quite normal, right? In a football team.
Like, it's insane. Like, everyone gets along, and then you've got the boss obviously coming in. He's super, super positive. So everything's, hasn't really lost it very often at all. And when he does, it's totally warranted. So it's probably at me a couple of times, but fair enough. And Hayden Fox, you can't, look too much further past him. Like, he's for the defensive structure and stuff. And that's what basically won us the championship, is the way we defended.
Man, Umai and McGrath, fuck, they were
absolutely
invincible.
unbelievable.
Especially in the final.
On top of Stanley as well when he was fit. And both the fullbacks. And to be fair, the whole 11 defended, right?
Actually, it's funny. It's interesting because, as good as we know Benny Garuccia is, he was probably one of the links in the team that you would think could shift more, because across that back four, Risdon, you're not going to drop. Bakray, you're not going to drop, and then it's really out of Gundy and probably Umar to play as centre back.
Yeah.
So, but then Garuccia was your player of the year.
Yeah.
So it's
well, I guess he came off the back of not playing a great deal at City. So
correct.
I guess
so it's a bit of a surprise packet in a sense.
Yeah,
of
but we know how good Benny is. Obviously,
correct,
who played with him in the national.
But that's why that shows how good you were going. That the guys he's got to the right of him are probably more experienced and, established.
Yeah.
Yet he's the best player of the season.
Yeah,
for you
he
guys.
was incredible. He's such a good guy to play with as well, because we sort of just had banter in the game and we just talk and you just know where he's going to be. I feel like we had a really good relationship going on, and the longer we went on in the season, it felt just so fluid and so sort of effortless just to play with Benny behind me. So it was really good.
Can we actually just talk about this? Because it went viral, the scorpion kick that he scored, which, for me and you watching it, it's one, he's a defender. Mm-hmm. So how the fuck has he done that? And secondly, that goal caught headlines around the world. When that went in, what was your first thought?
Well, that was one of the games I was injured. So I was up in the stands, in the box, in a suit. And I remember Jerry Scatatis was sitting next to me, and he sort of looked away, and I just stood up and I just started going nuts. And Jerry's like, "What?" I'm like, "The fucking scorpion." And he's like, "Nah, no way that happened." And we looked at the big screen and he's like, "What in the world?" He's got it in the locker, but if I try to do that, my hips gone.
Did you see? Gone. Yeah, if I tried, same. I think Archie tried it on.
I saw that.
Man, he legs couldn't get past his waist.
I know. So what a goal, but I guess people are predisposed to be able to do that as well.
Yeah. What did he, when you spoke to him after the game, what did he say about it? Was it all instinct? Was it just pure luck as well?
Just throw a leg at it and see what happens, really. I think that's what you got to do, don't you?
True.
There's no way you're going to obviously he's trying to make good contact and he's trying to do that, but to be so perfect, you just got to, the McGree one as well. He's just throwing anything at it. And
ridiculous.
Qual's one as well. Did you see that one?
Yeah,
in the
I did in
23s?
Ollie Roos, yeah.
So I think I was with Benny when that went in.
That was very similar in a sense.
And he goes, that was incredible.
Yeah, it's nuts. Because that was at a rapid ball as well. It wasn't a slow pass.
He stayed on his feet.
I know.
What? His foot's backwards like that up here.
We've got no hope in this game, do we?
No way.
Oh, man. Well, one of the shining lights, obviously, I guess that was spoken about was Johnny Aloisi as a coach and his performance. And he obviously had times at City and Raw where it didn't go as well. But I've actually worked with him a couple of times and I've seen he's just so smart and very switched on. And the way I took him, and I'd love to get your in-depth opinion of him, was he doesn't say heaps at times, but when he does, it's very fucking powerful. Or when I went on trial at City and he was there as a player and he'd just chime in with 2 cents. Fuck, that was Johnny Aloisi, But what's he been like for you, for your own individual sort of performances? And then generally as a coach, what's sort of his strengths?
Yeah, he's been massive for me. I sort of spoke to Tommy Orr, who's worked with him previously when he was sort of coming in. And, I think the biggest one for me is just sort of his positivity, and he sort of makes you feel like you're a good player, which is massive. And I know that's probably, if that's the biggest thing, obviously that's probably letting his coaching down in a way, in terms of me saying that, because his coaching is ridiculous. But for me, the most I got is from him just being genuinely a really nice person.
Yeah.
And you're thinking this guy's John Aloisi. It's weird. He's sort of you're talking to him and you're this guy's done it all, really. He scored in every top 4 league in the world.
I think he's was the only player. I don't know if he still used to play in La Liga, Serie A and Premier League.
And just how nice of a person he is, just kind of it's weird. You can't comprehend that he's done all that. But the way he sees the game's incredible. He's got us so well drilled in terms of our positioning and things like that. And it was new to me because I was always, if I've been playing as a winger, it's always been out and out winger, old fashioned, down the line cross, something fairly one dimensional. And And he's sort of from day one, he's like, okay, we want you to spin inside.
You kind of played like a 10 in some regards, which is surprisingly you were quite comfortable because I've always kind of put you to be like the one-on-one speed.
I've never valued myself highly as being super technical, right?
Yeah, but in this year you looked at always on the side turn, always playing.
So that was something that he helped me with massively because I sort of, you don't push up against that. Be like, yeah, I'll absolutely do what you want me to do, but are you sure that's a good idea? Because I'm a down the line winger kind of thing. You don't say anything, but you're thinking in your head, like, can I actually do this role? So him helping me so much in that and just hammering it into me, get inside, you're good enough. And then when you're inside, run with it. Yeah. So yeah, he was phenomenal. Really, really good.
You're just speaking of, we obviously gave props to the back four, back five. Obviously, Jamie Young had a great year, but that front four, particularly going into finals with you, Lockie Wales, Wenzel Horst. What's the striker's name again? It's really just Prijovic. That's right, mate. I think was unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
he's like. It was like Zlatan.
Yep.
One, I obviously have never stood next to him in person and haven't been with him on the pitch, but he just looks like a massive presence, like tall, wide, and when the ball hits him, like you can't get it off him from the back. That. Yeah. So just talk to me about that front four because the chemistry with you guys, it was like just free flowing.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, there was obviously with Dylan Wenzel Halls and stuff, he started the season really well when Deal was fit, so we played sort of like more of a with 110 and then the wingers that would come inside as well and 19. And then obviously Prijovic got fit and started firing and then Dylan obviously couldn't get back in the team because of that. And credit to him because when it came finals time, he was still ready to go. And then we ended up sort of flipping into a system where we had the two wingers, maybe no 10 and then the two nines, like a big small combo, a little bit of Peter Crouch, Michael Owen action, which we love. So yeah, and he was unbelievable. And Prijovic, like, what a target, man!
Man, he's
like,
crazy.
I feel like sometimes in the game, we sort of stray away from these bigger guys that you can kind of have an out ball if you're in trouble to just hit a number 9. And it's just so effective.
Yeah,
like we, didn't play the prettiest stuff at times, but we played effective football, and he was key to that by holding the ball up and getting himself in good areas, and you can hit someone in the box. Yeah, I feel like that's massively undervalued. Sort of in the modern game. And
correct.
He was awesome. And then obviously Wales, he just does what he does and just a good guy.
You kind of all three of you, and I think it's a compliment to Johnny Aloisi because you all had that sort of floating role as 10s and you're like intertwining and moving. But you're kind of all three very similar players. Like you're all very different in your own regards. But the way it came across was like you're all kind of doing the similar things because you're playing to like this system, which I thought it said a lot about the coaching because it was quite hard to stop. Yeah. Because you're all on the same wavelength in pockets and like people are like, what the fuck is who's where?
Yeah, well, it's hard because I remember we sort of talked about like who's really going to pick, for example, me up in that system where, so say if you're playing Melbourne Victory and I'm up against good mate Jason Guerrier, it'd be one of those where if you come deeper, will Jace come? Because Jace loves coming. He's on the front foot, right? Yeah. Top right full
back. He's not going to let you turn.
He doesn't let you turn. So just drop 5 more yards, 5 more meters. Will he come? And then because you're almost past the line of their 6 at that point. So then he'll pass him onto the 6 and then you can kind of get it and turn and go.
Right.
So it was that floating role that sort of really sort of helped everyone. And by the way, you had an absolute marshal in midfield in Kilkenny that could see everything. So he would just give you little pointers because obviously this is a position that's new in the playing as like a 10. So little pointers of like, oh, drop here, drop there, or, turn and run and go on this angle, turn this way, turn that way. And helped me so much. He's such a good player.
How old is Kilkenny now?
I'm not sure. I don't want to guess.
Yeah, I don't want to guess. But let's not guess him.
He's definitely mid-30s.
Can you tell me, give me a bit of insight into Kilkenny because I feel like he's probably one of the ones that maybe didn't get the accolades or, obviously Prijovic, Lacroix, Jamie Young, some of those guys were sort of front and centre of but he was like quite paramount in your success. Like particularly when you have like 3 floating 10s, the only reason those floating 10s are good is because your 6 or so can find you or your 8, Yeah. So obviously he was paramount to your success. I can't speak
up more highly of Killer. I didn't know I obviously knew he was a top player, but didn't know what to expect having not really played with him or met him. What a guy and what a player. He's such a good player and just a good person. So he'd helped me so much. And then you have Lustica next to him for most of the season and Jerry Scatatis coming in when he needed to, did really well as well. So it was just those 6s were like the catalyst for like the team doing so well and without them you don't win.
Absolutely. Now arguably the biggest pedigree in the A-League is Diamante, and in regards to, he's probably like the equivalent of what Del Piero was like a few years ago. Like he's probably the biggest name, the the best sort of successful career that we could probably relate to in the A-League. Can you talk us through what he's like? And obviously he went down with that knee injury, so you kind of missed him in the finals and beyond, in the back end of the season and beyond. But what's he like as a bloke? He seems like a character.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Like, is there any funny stories about him? Like how he acts? Is he pretty professional? Is he just like a larrikin? What's he like?
He's professional. I guess you have to be when you're still going at his age. Is bloody impressive, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
far
he's
out.
obviously got the quality, so that's not a concern. But just to keep your body moving, and you'd know full well that like the A-League slept upon in the way that it is super physical. You have to be fit as, right? So he's been able to play in a league like this. You know, he's obviously, no one questions the technical ability, of course, because he's played at some of the world's biggest clubs, but the physical assets you need to have, especially at his age, it's super impressive that he can keep going. And he's just he's a good guy around the dressing room. He's just funny. He's up to no good all the time.
Really?
I think he's a handful for the physios.
Yeah,
but,
he seems like a massive joker.
Yeah, he is. He's a good guy to have around. He's obviously, I've got some mates that are Italian that just can't believe that I'm playing with him.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, because he scored, I think it was a penalty that knocked out England in the Euros or something.
Past Joe Hart,
Yeah, past Joe Hart. And it's just like, and then I remember him signing for West Ham like maybe 10 years ago, could be longer. And it was like the biggest signing in like the history at the time and stuff. I'm like, holy fuck.
I know.
He's a serious player.
He is, yeah. So he's good to have around. He's a good laugh, and obviously you can't question his ability, obviously. So
yeah, good man. Now let's talk a bit about. I want to talk to you about, I guess, your views on the A-League, because you've been in it for a long time. So I feel like you can give a fair assessment of its development. Obviously, things that have fluctuated to go worse or better. Like in general, how's it been? Because obviously you've seen it from. When did you make your debut? Was it 2012? 2013?
Started 2013.
So 10 years. So you've been in it since new clubs have come in, gone out, and vice versa. How's the overall sort of perspective for you where it's at? Because you actually play in it, so you know how hard it is.
No, I think it's great in terms of the standard of it. I feel like it's like an issue where people don't get around there. I think fan engagement is the biggest issue, obviously, in this country, where you need your local people to support your Barcelonas, your Man Uniteds, but support your local team, right?
Yeah, correct.
Like there's a lot of countries in the world that the A-League's probably a better standard league than even a lot of European countries, and their attendance is through the roof.
Yeah.
Even the MLS's attendance, I know that the country's massive, whatever, but the MLS's attendance is huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
And obviously the money going into the game is probably more, but yeah, I think that engagement, I don't have any solution. I'm just here talking about the problem.
If we had one,
I know, that's right.
Probably smarter people probably would have thought of it.
It's quite easy to realise what the problem is, but the standard of football is great. Some of the kids coming through are fantastic, and I just think with the expansion teams and getting more opportunities for more kids, as well as the season pros, because you can't forget about us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You can't keep talking about these guys. I know it doesn't sound right. It
doesn't fit well.
I know. I played 200 games. I don't know how.
Have you actually? Yeah. Holy shit!
I had to just drop that in.
Bomb.
So I think it's in a great place in terms of the ability of the players. The coaching is really good. Obviously, the standard of coaching coming through is incredible. That's why you see a lot of these stalemates a lot of the time.
I love that they're all Aussie coaches too.
Yeah, it's great. So I think a lot of it's got a lot of positives to it. It's just about, I don't know, exposing people to that positive. And, I know we're a club that doesn't have that many fans, hoping that the stadium gets done sort of soonish, and we can sort of engage them through winning the championship as well. Hopefully it can bring some more people through the doors, because that grand final the atmosphere was mad. It was like going back to when I started, right?
Yeah.
Like the amount of people there, how loud it was. It was just, that was what you play football for, and you sort of forget that sometimes. And
yeah, definitely.
You come up in that game against Victory in the semi-final, second leg, and you're going like, this is football,
it was
right?
fucking electric, football. Man. Yeah. Like the celebrations and some of those goals were flowing. You guys were like going absolutely off chops.
It's so loud. You know what Victory's like? They're the absolute pinnacle of fan engagement in the country. So if we can all sort of follow their model and then try and get as close as we can to emulating them, then the game's going to be in a great place.
100%. I actually think, honestly, I think that's just the only thing. It's just viewership and stuff. Everything else, the product, because when you think about it, like the amount of young players from 10 years ago, like young players that had probably achieved the same as you and I in the A-League are now getting moves to Europe or Asia or, what I mean? Or they're getting poached on bigger deals to other A-League clubs. Like there wasn't that movement back then.
No,
like we were lucky to get games. Now, like Adelaide, for example, they've got like half their teams like under 20, and then you got other teams that are, playing players that are 16, 17, then they're getting signed overseas. So that's like that's what the A-League to me should be for.
Absolutely.
Like those things. And then you complement it by getting blokes like Diamante and the seasoned vets. So to complement, right, the kids that we're producing. But what rattled me was, and I know it's Barcelona, but like the A-League All-Stars versus Barcelona, like 70,000 people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so people want to watch football in this country.
Yeah.
So it's just like getting them to the A-League.
That's what I don't understand. I honestly don't understand.
Like 70K ANZ Stadium, like holy fuck.
Yeah, that's insane. Like it's actually insane.
In an NRL-dominated community or whatever, like it's pretty special.
Yeah, and I guess it's like you don't want to throw the term Euro snob around, but we need to start converting these people, man.
Yeah,
like,
we do.
I don't know how, but we need to. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Because it's, it's like us. Like I'll go down and watch the NPL. Like I watch the Premier League. I watch whatever's on.
Yeah.
Get around, play for Western, but I feel like there's a lot of people there that do get around a lot, but there's some that are so set in their ways that, you can support multiple teams. There's no problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You could just go down and support your local product. The NPL is doing really well, doing that sort of stuff, and the A-League's great as well. So, like, there's no reason why they can't coexist.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I want to talk the Socceroos because there's a few questions I want to ask about, obviously, the A-League intertwining with the Socceroos, but just in general, did you see the game? Obviously, the qualification period. I think it was it was pretty early, the game. So I don't know if you watched it, but...
I sort of caught the end of it, yeah. I was going to stay up and I was like...
I struggled, man.
Can't do it.
I struggled, especially the game wasn't, electric, let's say, but...
I watched most of it back, yeah, so I will say that. I did watch it.
Yeah. No, I watched it. Do you know what? It's the only... I've realised it's the only game where a 0-0 draw is... so exciting and exhilarating because there's a World Cup on the end of the line. Like, it was literally everything, even though in general it was it's a pretty poor game.
Yeah.
But obviously we won. But what's it been like for you to see, obviously, the Socceroos of a fifth World Cup?
Oh.
Our generation, we've been lucky to just constantly go to World Cups to watch it. And
That's what I mean. I feel like people are just we're very quick to throw shit at the team, and it's like, I think the last time we got to the final was through a playoff, to the World Cup was through a playoff as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it really that different? And we've gone to 5 in a row. Like, we didn't go to one for 40 years, best part of 40 years?
Yeah.
And then we've gone to 5 in a row.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, job done as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's what the goal was.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy for people like, Kai Rolls, who's a mate of mine from Central Coast.
That's crazy,
young kid,
man.
He's just come from absolutely nowhere when we all knew he could because he's such a good player.
Yeah.
Left-footed centre-backs are an absolute
diamond
commodity
dozen,
as well.
mate.
Yeah. And, for him to do that, and he's gone literally from player of the year, won bloody every award at Mariners, went straight to this qualifiers and gets, qualification straight to Scotland.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can keep playing well and get himself a seat on that plane to go to Qatar. So what a whirlwind for him. So I'm super happy for him, but for everyone, because how hard they worked and how much scrutiny they were under and just to produce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to affect the A-League at all? Because not surprisingly, but a good note is there's quite a few A-League players in the squad, and obviously the timing of the World Cup will sort of impact players going and coming or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure how logistically it works, but I know you have to have a break.
You have to
The
have a
league
break.
does stop. I think all FIFA leagues stop from what I heard.
For 2-3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it is. Obviously, they'll go into camp.
That's going to be weird,
Early,
right, for you guys?
Yeah, it's the strangest thing ever. I mean, that's what happens when you put a World Cup in the middle of the desert, really. So, it's crazy. That's another talking point.
Yeah, it is,
but,
definitely.
the June World Cup just works so well because it's obviously off-season. It'd be going on now, really.
Yeah, I know it should be now. We'll be World Cup finals probably, or World Cup final around now.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been wanting to ask you, because you have such good vision across the A-League and the quality of players in it, it's a bit of a left field one, but who that's not in the Socceroos now, that's in the A-League, from your eyes, could potentially get on a plane to Qatar? Whether they will or won't, in terms of quality or form, you would be like, they definitely could be there.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I'm going to talk about my team. I'm going to talk about...
Yeah, talk any teams.
I reckon either one of our fullbacks.
Oh, Garuccio or Riston, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Risen's been there before, been to, I think, was it 2018? Went to Russia?
I believe so.
Yeah, and that guy is an absolute animal.
Yeah. Did he play the grand final injured, by the way?
Yeah, he got I don't know what happened.
10 minutes,
first 10 minutes, he was gone.
Yeah, because I was watching him for I thought he was going to come off.
Yeah, same. And then I realised it was Rizzo. And
I was like, right, and then I saw the captain's armband. I saw him gritting down, and 10 minutes later, he's taking throw-ins, free kicks. I'm like, fuck, he's not coming off.
And he goes harder at it.
Yeah.
And he's like the only person in the world that I've met that does that.
Yeah.
No, but he's an absolute animal. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised he's not there now, honestly.
Really?
I think he's
that good.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's on par. I mean, obviously, Ryan Grant's been in there quite a bit, but I put him on par with Ryan Grant easily.
Yeah, I think so too.
They've had the exact same careers, almost.
They've both been fantastic, obviously. But
superstars.
If there's anyone, it's probably him. And Benny, a bit of a sort of one out of the, just throw him in.
Jack in the box.
Well, why not?
Yeah, there's always his one.
Yeah, I feel like I think he's been the best left back in the competition. And obviously Jason Davison had a really good year as well.
Yeah.
So he got the nod to go to the last qualifiers.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's actually a
Jace,
good point,
but
man.
He's a
Garucci's
fantastic player as well.
pretty stiff when you think of it like that.
But I mean, I just feel like it could have gone either way with those, you know? It's one of
I'd
those
probably
ones.
say they probably had the same seasons almost
Yeah,
in
they were
regards
both
to
really
quality, good
Yeah.
teams playing every week. Like Jace just probably maybe stood out more because he banged in a free kick or two.
Yeah. Oh, Jason's a quality player. He's
yeah.
obviously got to move off the back of a really good season. But
correct.
yeah, Benny was fantastic for us. Like really, really good. So, and you got scorpion kick, man.
Fuck,
Get on
man,
the
I
plane.
know, bro.
Get on
That's
the
a
plane.
Pushkas award almost. I'm gonna just give some like quick fire questions of like your career here because I think you've experienced the A-League through the highs and lows, and you've been there when it's been at the top in regards to like imports. You've been there at the top when it's like young players coming through, and you've obviously been around at a few clubs to see it. But in the history of your career, who's been your toughest opponent?
Oh, toughest opponent.
Because your probably position is very much dual based sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
So you get a really good gauge of, you know.
I've got a funny way of looking about this. I'll go into a bit more detail than a quick fire question. if
Please,
that's all right.
absolutely.
I think I struggle the most against the athletes.
Really?
Yeah.
But you're an athlete, no?
Yeah, but that's my point of difference, I suppose, you know?
Okay.
Like, so say if someone reads the game really, really well, but isn't quick.
Yeah.
I don't really care how well you read the game. You're probably not going to catch me.
Yeah, correct.
Whereas
You just kick and
someone
run.
that might dive in and you beat them, but then they're back with you and you're going, what the fuck?
Okay,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
the point of difference is gone.
And now I'm not saying that these players aren't as good. It's just it's kind of almost backwards. Like,
Right.
you know, your stereotypical really good fullbacks, I find that I can have a good game against. But the ones that are, the problem is you got players like Jason that can do both.
Yeah.
And then I struggle against Jason a lot. Like
Yeah, because Jace can miss 2 tackles and then still catch you.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he can read the game too. So he's like a hybrid of both. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. And he's an animal. And then when they go the other way, you know, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
fuck.
nah, I can't
you can't.
bother.
Yeah.
So
'cause
yeah,
they're so
someone like
fit.
Jace, someone that's, you know, like that.
Really?
Probably, yeah.
That's interesting.
I do
right?
find it tough against Jace.
Oh, that's a good. I like that analogy. That's very good. For next one is for you because you're a football fan. Who's or guess when you've been on the pitch, has there ever been a pinch yourself moment? And if so, with what player? Like for me, when I played against Harry Kewell or Del Piero, I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. But the Liverpool friendly.
Liverpool friendly.
Yeah.
MCG.
Yeah, you could pick anyone in that team and you're going, what?
Can you actually explain that experience? Because that was probably one of the most unique things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like an Australian fan base packing out the MCG.
To support the other team.
Yeah, You'll Never Walk Alone. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah, it was
And I'm like,
insane.
we live in Melbourne, not fucking
Yeah.
Merseyside. Like,
Yeah, I was speaking to someone the other day on this other thing I was doing, and it was like, you know, all these people were there. It was great, and they weren't there to see me, so obviously, but yeah, man, that experience, like, I feel like because everything happened so fast when I was 19, from going to NPL 20s World Cup, like straight into the Liverpool game and playing at Victory, and like it was like a whirlwind that I didn't really realise how good it was until like after, and that game was just insane.
it was, man. It was fucking crazy.
Like, you standing next to Steven Gerrard, like in the tunnel, and you're like, massive, man. And like, I feel like being a football fan growing up and watching pretty much anything. Like, I don't watch as much now, but when I was a kid, I'm sure you were the same.
Yeah,
Watched
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, me too.
And these guys that you watch on TV, and like, they're just standing next to you and you're going, this is weird. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's weird.
surreal,
So surreal.
huh?
So yeah, definitely that was a pinch yourself.
How was, like, did you notice like the difference in quality or the speed? Even though they were in like pre-season,
Yeah,
like
you
for
know,
you,
it's
you
like
can you
those-
can gauge things, right?
Yeah.
What was it that you gauged that was different, like, or they were ahead of in certain
It's
aspects?
so hard in those friendlies. Because
Yeah.
they're playing on an MCG pitch that was rubbish.
I was bobbly as
Yeah,
fuck.
they
I
painted.
remember.
I remember they painted the grass like to be green, so it looked
shit.
good on the telly.
That's
They do
that's
that
the worst for players, man. That should be illegal.
because it looks good, doesn't it?
and
to
then
everyone
they're
at
like,
home?
this guy's shit. It's like, mate, you come on here and try to kick this, you fuckwit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it was so difficult, and I think was they in their pre-season or post?
I can't remember. It was July.
Okay,
so
it'd
I've
be
got to
their
feel like it was
pre-season.
pre-season.
Yeah. I mean, they probably couldn't be asked as well.
Yeah.
you got to throw that factor
Yeah, I
in,
know. I feel
you
like
know?
Jared take a pen and stuff. I was like, fuck.
they were
man.
just chilling, but like that, you could just tell the sharpness and their movement and that sort of stuff, and it's just like they're just so athletic as well.
Yeah.
I feel like you can watch the Premier League at home and you're going like, you know, like they'd obviously be decent, but I feel like you can't really comprehend how big and like strong they are. And that's a massive. I was up against Glenn Johnson at right back.
Fuck.
And I was like a kid. Like, man, I was
you would've been
19.
one.
I was
Yeah.
tiny. And this guy's a monster. And I was
He's renowned for
don't
his
even
like-
want to run at him. I'm too scared.
Pass back.
Just go back. We just keep the ball.
Oh,
The
shit.
whole world's watching. Just keep the ball.
Yeah, they can't go wrong. I
That
don't
was
get
my
out of place.
mentality back then.
The whole world's
Touched on it
watching.
before.
Yeah.
Whole world's watching. Don't fuck up.
That's so
And that's
crazy.
why you can't. That's why that never worked back then when you were a kid with that
Do you know
mentality.
that? Don't you think that's fate? Like, because now you're at a mature point in like your career and even like yourself as like an adult, you can probably look back now and laugh. But when you think about it, it's crazy how you work. Because I was very similar. Like, I heaped so much pressure on myself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one, it was like to get to the top. And then it's like when you get there, you just constantly the self-doubt as a kid, particularly when you're not getting picked every week and backed by the coach. In a good team, you start really like believing things and you're like, you know what I mean? It's good that you got to a point where it clicked. You're like, hold on a second. Like, I'm actually very good. Or like, you know, there's
thanks, man.
yeah, no stress. I didn't get to that point. I crumbled. But it's funny now, like the headspace, right? Like you think back.
Well, yeah, it's not that you ever consciously work on the headspace. Like, I feel like I probably needed to.
I feel, do you know
the
what? That's
time.
my biggest regret. It's like,
Yeah.
I think that I wish, like, in our generation, especially coming through the ranks we did in Melbourne, like, no one ever said train your brain.
It wasn't talked about.
I never heard that, bro.
Nah.
I still don't. I don't know if it is now in the junior aspects, but like, I think back, I'm like, that was just my missing link.
Yeah,
Was like
absolutely.
just having like the mental
Yeah.
fortitude
It's
in
huge.
tough moments.
Yeah, and I guess that just came through experience with me. Is like I never really formally sat down and went through my mental well-being and things like that.
Do you do that now?
No.
No. Yeah, you're
I'm
a
just a
chiller
chiller
now.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the coast has done to you, bro. You've
I
got
know.
too much Terrigal in you.
Terrigal's the best place in the world, mate.
Who's the best player you've played with? Like one that in moments where, you know, you sort of see players going a bit of their shell because like, holy fuck, and certain aspects, certain other people kind of just take it by the scruff of the neck.
I feel like it's a close one because obviously you got Dia now. I remember the first year that he came, like sometimes you're in a cage, you're 0-0 or you're 1-0 down and he'll just whip something out of nowhere, like a blind ball, 50 metres cross body straight
Like
to a
just
wing and
no
scores
fear.
kind of thing. He
No
played this.
fear.
I remember he played this ball against City, I think it was, first season or maybe even the second season when we were on a good run at the start of the year. And a ball just got played. I think I played a ball back to him like slowly so he could hook it. And he just hooked this ball around the corner to Dylan Perez who just headed it in. And I'm just like, and you've just broken the game open. But then like another one going back years is probably like Guy Finkler.
Oh, gear.
Yeah.
I actually, funny, there was an A-League post the other day of like great imports and he was one of them and I just wrote on the
Mate.
comment, underrated.
Absolutely incredible.
He was so underrated, bro.
I remember there was this game at Amy, obviously again when I'm low on confidence, started this week somehow. And Costa put this worldie of a cross in and I've missed it from, I reckon, 5 yards.
Yeah.
And then we were 2-1 down and Guy had a free kick. You would have been that against Wanderers.
Yeah.
In the last minute or
or
something, and he bent it in, and I was like, "Thank God."
Yeah, thank
Like,
fuck.
thank
Thank
you.
fuck.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Like
what
one
good
of
players
those,
do. They
you know what I
get
mean?
you out of it. Coach
Yeah,
forgets it.
got me out of the shit.
Oh, man.
So yeah, him in moments, that guy was incredible. He's such a nice guy as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard a lot of people speak highly of him. For those that don't really know Connor Payne, now off the field you're actually a very, very smart man.
Am I?
Yeah. Well, I mean, going off the crypto space, maybe not. But give us a taste of like how you have some downtime off the field. Like, what sort of keeps you busy? Because I feel like you're one of the few footballers that you wouldn't be overly football heavy, particularly now anyway, which probably complements your performances.
For sure.
But so what is it that balances you out? What are your other interests?
Well, yeah, sort of like you touched on, I'd try and remove myself completely from football. Like whenever I'm at home, it's quite hard when you're in off season and you get sent a running program. Have you done it yet? Have you done it?
Oh, fuck.
Which I have started.
Yeah.
Disclaimer. And yeah, I sort of like I just finished my studies like a couple of years ago. So since then, I've literally done nothing.
What were you studying?
I finished a commerce degree.
Fuck.
I'm sort of looking maybe to go into a postgrad, but I sort of can't be bothered.
Yeah. Too busy winning championships.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, like I used to just play a bit of golf. I haven't played for a while, see mates. But it's hard, man, when you're this 28, 29 years old kind of.
Things start to change at this age,
Yeah,
don't they?
and like with people in the week and that, like you used to just go when your mates are at uni, let's go hang out.
Yeah, yeah,
midweek
yeah.
after training. Like
Yeah.
I just sort of get home and I'm like, well, I can't really do anything.
Yeah, I
Like,
can't be fucked.
Well, and my mates are all working, right?
Yeah, true.
So yeah, like I have a lot of time that I waste probably.
Yeah.
Which I should be filling with something. But yeah, just your normal stuff.
Oh, yeah. So what's sort of the view now for next season? Like, how do you come into it? Because are you guys going to keep most of your squad? Is any key people left or is majority staying?
Yeah, the majority is staying. I can't really remember if we've announced really any outs at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't seen any. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so I'm not going to make anything public that I know
that's a
of.
scary side if that's the case, because it's a pretty well formulated team.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, if there will be people going, there'll be people coming in to replace them. And I don't know, I assume they'll try and strengthen in whatever way they think. But yeah, it's good to get sort of some continuity, especially like you can see how it worked at Sydney FC when they had their little run, and Melbourne City as well the last couple of years. Their turnover was quite small for an A-League side, which typically A-League teams, the turnover is quite high. So I think keeping people together that clearly do work together well is of paramount importance. And if you can keep the foreign group together as well, who've sort of been really, really good, but that's also probably the hard part.
Correct.
Then yeah, you've got good foundations for another good year, hopefully.
Mate, well, Connor Payne, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the potty, mate. Well overdue.
Pleasure's mine,
I feel
mate.
like we're going to have to get Scotty and Lockie Wells on after their form off the field. But no, good luck for next season, man. Very happy for you and proud of your season. And you definitely proved me wrong in the finals prediction. So I'm not mad about it because you've got some silverware that you well and truly deserved and contributed to. So thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Awesome.